A few weeks ago I went to see the movies and video games music concert, and as I told you before, it was one of the great experiences that I had. It was amazing, it was completely fun. The thing is that after hearing all those great music of all those great games, one of those songs actually stuck in my head, and I kept hearing that music, that piece of music over and over again in my head. Right now it's in there and I'm listening to it right now. So I said to myself, I have to do something about it. I have to talk about this game. So here it is. Let's talk about Outrun. Well guys, Outrun is one of my favorite racing games of all time. I'm not a huge fan about racing games, but this one is one of the greatest racing games of all time. I used to play this game a lot on the arcades, and it is absolutely awesome. When this game were actually released on a home console, which was the Sega Master System, it actually looks great. It wasn't a very direct port because the Master System was an 8-bit system, but it looks great. When the game was ported for the Sega Genesis, it looked awesome. Now, I do not own a Sega Master System, or I do not have the Genesis version of Outrun. I actually didn't have Outrun. I have to ask my brother-in-law to actually lend me his Sega Ages. This is the version for the Sega Saturn, and it is a collection of 3 arcade Sega games, which has Afterburner, it has Outrun, and Space Harrier. This game was actually developed by Spaz, and it looks awesome. Even the artwork on the cover is outrageous. The colors, everything actually pops out of the manual. It looks great and is completely in color. Very amazing game. Now, one of the best features that I found on this is that it gives you some history on all the games. Tell you information about Afterburner, which is part 2, sorry, Space Harrier, and Outrun, and it actually gives you the systems where actually the game was released. Like in this case, Outrun was released for the Sega Master System, the Sega Genesis, and the Sega Game Gear. The other games were actually released in other systems. Well guys, here we go. Let's play some Outrun. Now this is one of the coolest part of this game, that you can actually choose your music. I'm gonna choose Magical Sound Shower, which is my favorite. Now this game and Hang On are identical. The only thing is that in Hang On you use a motorcycle, and here you use this beautiful Ferrari, red Ferrari. Do not know exactly what model. I'm not very good with cars. Now, one of the coolest thing about this game is your driver. You are driving as fast as hell, and he is just cruising. One of his left hand is actually hanging on the car's door, just like his Sunday morning drive. Well, this version of Outrun, you can actually play it with the regular Saturn controller. I'm using the American version of the Japanese controller, since my Sega Saturn is a second version, or Model 2 that came to the US. But at the same time, you can actually use the 3D controller for the Sega Saturn, and you can actually use the analog stick right over here to use it as the steering wheel. Or if you have the steering wheel for the Sega Saturn, you can actually use that as well. But since I do not have it, I'm going to be using this controller because I actually trust more this controller than this one. Although this is a great controller, I have to add that, it's awesome. But I like this one more. I normally get to the first checkpoint, but to get to the second one is hard as hell. Damn it! Let's see if I can actually make it. I really like that. Every time that you actually hit something and the girl next to you start to telling you that what a bad driver you are and blaming you. Now, one of the coolest part of this game is actually the crashes. Just like I showed you, every time that you hit something, your girlfriend makes a remark at you. But the coolest one is when you're going as fast as hell, nothing to stop you, and you're about to crash. Now, I'm about to do one of the things that I actually like about this game, and it is the crash. So I'm gonna go as fast as I can with no care in the world. I'm gonna crash this lovely red Ferrari. So here I go. Greatest racing game of all time. It's very simple. You have to do is just get to from your starting point and get to the check marks to actually continue the game. It's pretty hard. Not everybody actually can make it to the checkpoint on time and believe me, I know, but I have to really admit that this is the greatest racing game of all time. It's simple. You don't have to buy parts for your car, just like if you were building a real car or anything like that. It's just racing, and I really love it. I'm gonna continue playing the game because the music is still here, it doesn't get out. I'm gonna continue, and I will be seeing you next time.